Shalom, Hebrews and Shebrews. This is Oilfield Disciple. Better get on here and talk about a few things. What am I going to talk about? Well, looking at Scripture, there's a couple times throughout Scripture that God talks about three things uh, coinciding with each other: the sword, uh, pestilence and disease, and famine. Once was when David numbered the Israelites in disobedience. God gave him an ultimatum to go through 7 years of famine. Sorry, I'm trying to look at something here. 7 years of famine, um, 3 months running um, from his enemies, pestilence, disease, or 3 days dying by the sword. Jesus says in the scriptures that wars and rumors of wars, be the sword, famines, and disease, and plagues um, will accompany the end times. We see all that, and we look at everything around us, and we're quite arrogant to say, "Oh, these are the end times. These are the end times." At the end of the day, it may be the end times. What are you doing about it? Are you protecting? Are you putting your all your chips in on your faith towards Yahweh? Let me flip this camera around. Let's do what we do on this channel. Let's cruise with Jesus. Um, Never know what we're going to see out here on the highway. But seriously, are we investing in the kingdom? Are we seeking out those lost souls and ministering to them? I bring this up because, as I minister first and foremost to my own family, uh, and my younger daughter having friends, we're we know about each other's home lives and whatnot, and there's a whole lot of children out there, teenage years, that really don't have anyone to look up to or trust that will protect them in chaos like this, um, and no one to look up to really in their immediate sphere of influence. Can you be that mentor? Can you be that one? Are we doing that? A lot of us, we're doing for our own, but we don't really think about our neighbor too much. As I presented the message to the congregation yesterday, and I'm reading James chapter 5, the last three verses of that chapter, that Yahweh delights in us when we minister to the sinner, and the sinner hears the word and turns from his ways and looks towards Yah. I don't really spend a whole lot of time on Facebook. I like to scroll through there and see different posts. I can get a lot of intel on people's emotions and reactions to certain things. But here in the last few days, I've spent quite a bit of time reading people's comments, uh, pros and cons, and arguments, thoughts, opinions on all that's going around us. And, you know, like I've said in other previous videos, people are scared. Um, and a lot of times people are scared, but they do not want to show you and allow you in to see that they're scared, you know. And so they put on this big front, and you have to kind of see through that. It's like some people, they laugh when they're nervous, or they talk too much when they're nervous. Uh, you got to get to know people in order to see through that. And In this day and age, this culture, especially with social media and texting and whatnot, you can't read that. You can't read into that. What in the world are you doing, girl? I seen her way over there on the highway this morning walking. Anyway, if it was a male, I would stop. But I have, well, we have to protect ourselves. We really don't get to know our neighbors anymore. We don't get to know our friends anymore. It's easier to text them than it is to go check on them personally. You know, we become a nation, we become a culture that doesn't really have a whole lot to do with each other physically. We communicate with each other regularly, but one-on-one physical um, confrontations and in relationships, we just don't have that much, you know. And unfortunately, it's getting to where it's like that even inside the four walls of one's home. You know, want to be in the bedroom, want to be in the kitchen, want to be in the living room. They'll be communicating, but they'll be communicating through text or social media or whatever the case may be. But they're doing it that way, and there's that personal connection is being lost. It's like I noticed a couple of years ago that I spent so much time listening to sermons and things on YouTube that although there's a video playing, I'm driving, I don't look at the video, I'm just hearing what's being said. I got to notice that when I had one-on-one conversations with people, I would do the same thing. Although they would be standing there physically, I would be looking at something else, hearing them. And I noticed that, and I have to work on that. I have to force myself because I was raised when someone's talking to you, you look them in the eye. You can tell a whole lot what's going on that way. And I got to noticing that when I was talking to people, I was hearing them. I was listening to everything they were saying, but I'd maybe be staring off, looking at something else, and that made them think that I'm just really not interested in what they had to say. It's rude. But when you talk to the younger generation like that, they don't even notice that because people are not taught to look at each other in the eye. People are not taught to give a firm handshake when they meet, and they greet each other. You know, I hate it when I get a little limp handshake. It's like, what's wrong with you? That felt weird. You know, we've lost the personal touch. We've disconnected ourselves from humanity through our social media and our phones, and we need to get back to caring about our fellow man, checking on one another. We got the silver prices dropping, oil prices dropping, diseases coming around, sword, war, all the elements for a perfect storm. We were talking a little bit after assembly yesterday that, what if they do quarantine us? Will we be able to all come together? Uh, you know, uh, that was a concern for many. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the rules of quarantine at that point would be, but I've got enough space at my place. And sure, if we're going to quarantine, let all my assembly come and be with us. That way we can put all our resources together. Absolutely. You and so that's that one-on-one relationship that we need to get back to. We need to get back to the old road. Jeremiah 6:6, I believe it is, talks about getting back to the old road. I would love it if all the stores shut, if electricity was shut off. You know, It would be an inconvenience for a time, but it would bring us back together culturally. But the unfortunate part is that if that happens, many are going to die, and that's plain and simple. And that kind of sucks for that part. But watched a movie on Netflix. It's been a year or so ago. It wasn't really a movie; it was a series, and I don't even remember what the series was. But something had happened. Scientists had done something, and it killed the electricity across the world. Went dark, black, no electricity, and no way to get it back. And so tribes formed, and people got back to the basics of life, and it was barbaric, but it makes you think. You know, what are we going to do today if we go to check Facebook and it's down? Well, that's nothing out of the ordinary. That's happened before. Turn on the radio and it's nothing but static. And then you get that text on your cell phone. Uh, this is a message from the emergency broadcast system from the Public Health Response Agency uh, via Donald Trump. You're ordered to stay in your homes, do not come out. Anyone who disobeys and comes out will be met with force. Arrests will be made. You'll face a military tribunal. This is not a test. This is real. Stay in your homes until further notice. And there is absolutely no communications that we're used to having. Do we have any other way to communicate other than our cell phones? I mean, I've got some walkie-talkies. That's about it. Do you have enough food in your home to endure a month, 2 month quarantine? Things you need to think about because it could happen, especially right now. This is different. This is weird. I've got my thoughts on that. But anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be encouraged, and y'all be frustrated. This is the Oilfield Disciple, and I will catch you on the next ride.